before moving forward, it's extremely important to know the costs and fees associated with any business model, and in this case, specifically with Amazon FBA. So right here, as you see on the screen, is a Google Sheet outlining all of the fees or costs associated with this business model. Now, I'll have a link to this in the resources section, and there you can go ahead and click on the link. It'll open up in Google Sheets, and if you don't have Google Sheets already, all you have to do is create a free Gmail account. Once you have your Gmail account, you'll automatically have Google Sheets for free. And anyway, once you do that, click on the link. Then once you have this on your screen, click on File, and click on Make a Copy, and you'll make your very own copy, so you have this for reference. And also keep in mind, I will be updating this Google Sheet in case anything changes in the future, as with anything else in this course, to make sure it's as up to date as humanly possible. Okay, so before getting into the sheet, which I'll just kind of quickly go through, I want you to think about businesses that are in your geographic area. So local restaurants, laundromat, financial services, outdoor equipment, whatever it might be. Think about those businesses and then think about how much it would cost to start one of these businesses. Again, real, physical business, right? So opening a Subway franchise might cost 150 to 200,000 US dollars. Think about how much it'll cost for any business with employees, with equipment, with insurance, with marketing and advertising, and all of that, okay? And the beautiful thing is that Amazon FBA can be far less expensive than any of these businesses. However, on average, okay, we have high, low, and average cost of getting started with an Amazon FBA business or with this business model. So on the higher end, we have with and without reorders, which I'll talk about in a second. We'll say without reorders. On the higher end, around 12,000 US dollars. The lower end, around 5,000. And then on average, it's usually between $7,000 to $9,000 on average to get started with Amazon FBA. And anyone teaching you that you can get started with selling your own private label products that you create and sell on Amazon for only a few $100s, is lying to you. But what happens is you don't know that they're lying to you or that it's an outdated strategy. You take their course, go through, think, it's amazing I can get started with such a low amount of money, leave them a 5-star review, go through the entire process on your own separately, and then realize, oh my goodness, this is completely wrong, outdated information, and doesn't work at all after you've taken their course, paid them, and left their 5-star review. So getting started with a few $100s with retail arbitrage or online arbitrage is absolutely doable. But with private label products, creating your own physical products brand, which is the most powerful, it's not, okay? So that's why I'm making this lecture specifically free to view, is because it's very important to know the costs before getting into it. And remember, this is not a side hustle. This is a real business that you're creating. And if you want real cash flow, you're either gonna have to put in a ton of time or put in a decent amount of money, or both, in order to get a return. Otherwise, usually when you put in a little bit of money, you get very little or nothing back. Put in a little bit of time into something like a hobby, you'll probably get a little bit back in terms of financial reward. So just kind of keep that in mind with any business. This is not some get-rich-quick scam. This is a business. So have that in your mind. And we're gonna cover each of these costs in more detail later on as the course progresses. But just kind of give you a highlight, I've divided these fees into different sections. So first we begin with product research. So this is essentially identifying your first or your next product to launch on Amazon. So we have some different paid tools that help us, patent research to make sure that we're not infringing on any patents, testing our product design, okay? And obviously we have the range from high, low, and then also average, okay? Now keep in mind, this is realistic high, realistic low, and realistic average. The prices could be even higher. The price could also be even lower, okay? But it's a very good realistic high, low, and average for you to pay attention to. Like I said, we'll cover each of these, the reason for incurring these costs. Obviously, there's absolutely no reason to spend money on something that you don't absolutely necessarily need. So that's why for some of these, there's $0, and we'll cover more of that later, okay? So we have product research. This is how much kind of to get started just to identify. And the good news is, on average, around $200 is how much it would cost, or potentially even less, to just identify. So you could see, first Sumner, before I get into this whole Amazon FBA business model, let me make sure that I can find a good product opportunity, a high demand, low competition, profitable product opportunity. And if I can't, then maybe I won't move forward. Well, the good news is you don't have to incur all of the costs right there at the beginning. You can do a little bit of cost to do a little bit of research before moving forward into everything else. So that's beginning with the product research / product development phase. Next, we identify our product. We're ready to create a business around this product. So logo design, creating your LLC, or basically your business in the United States. Your Amazon Seller Central account, just like anything else, right? You will need to pay Amazon to have a seller account with them, but I'll talk a little bit more about that later in terms of a professional versus an individual plan and kind of when to use both. Moving forward, we have production costs, basically how much to produce your units. So the actual cost of the product, the packaging around the product, inspection service to make sure that your products are 100% exactly as you want them to be and as you agreed with your supplier to make sure that they are, your product sample, etc. Shipping those products into one or more of Amazon's warehouses, creating your Amazon listing. So, the images, the text that describes your product that basically customers are going to see on Amazon and then ultimately buy. And then once they click the buy button on your Amazon listing, then you ship your products out to them. So creating your entire listing with keyword optimization, copywriting, images, and all of that. And then finally launching your product. So basically you have your brand new product and you want people to see it. So you need to pay a little bit or push it a little bit in order to get in front of people's eyes. People start clicking, buying, and leaving reviews, and that kind of solidifies yourself there in the search results of Amazon. Again, talk a lot more detail about all of these later on. Reorders, so this is something else that a lot of people do not cover. It's very, very important, is to think about reordering or your lead time. So basically, when you launch your first product on Amazon, great, it's selling fast, you're making all this money and profit, awesome. And then you sell out. And then you're like, oh, now I need to place a reorder. So you call your supplier, well, not really, you'll message them on WeChat or WhatsApp, which we'll talk about later. You message your supplier, and then you will say, hey, I want to reorder, I want another 100 units, 500 units, 1,000 units, whatever it is, depending on your product type. And then your supplier's going to say, okay, great, we'll get that started for you. It's going to be, 45 days before it'll be in Amazon's warehouse, basically. So you're like, oh shoot, I just sold out of my inventory and now I have 45 days of zero inventory. So just keep that in mind. You want to, as you're selling your first products on Amazon, your first inventory, you want to, as you're selling, start ordering your next order in order to not run out. But we'll talk about this later. Another strategy that you can place is just, hey, Sumner, I just want to test the market. I don't want to incur all these costs. Let me see if this works. So you just ship in one order. It sells like crazy. Awesome. And then you just reorder with the profit that you made from your first order and then reorder. That can actually save you some money. But the downside is that's a lot of time that you could have been making, generating more profit and cash flow that you were not, right? So that's kind of about reorders and the reasoning for why. But two different strategies here. I prefer to go ahead and place a reorder because the systems that I'm going to show you on product research and product development, you will have a quantitatively backed product opportunity that data is showing people desire and demand this product and it will sell, or there's an extremely high likelihood that it will sell and sell very, very well. Okay. So anyway, a little bit about reorders. Obviously, Amazon course, right? You could spend anywhere from just $20 up to $5,000 with the average being about about 1,000. And then anyway, in the grand scheme of things, now we have our high, low, and average, again, both with reordering right there at the beginning. So basically in the beginning, as we're selling, we're generating a little bit of profit, but haven't made much yet. We're already placing the reorder. And then also without reordering, the high, low, and average for you. Okay. So again, this is just the overview. We'll be diving into each of these specifically. And again, this is for you for reference along with all the other templates and resources that you'll be sharing here in the course. So if you have any questions about this, again, let me know in the Q&A section below. And I hope you found this valuable. And I hope you're excited because I'm super, super excited for you. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get to the next video.